Anyway, welcome to PC Building Simulator. I've played this quite a bit already. I say quite a bit. I've not played it that much. But I did do enough at least to get like a decent star rating and up a couple of levels so that I actually have access to some stuff, because at the very start of the game you're literally just doing the same job over and over again, which is pretty much remove viruses from a computer or blow the dust out of a fucking computer. And that's all you're doing on repeat, is those two things. So I'll just power on this PC. I've got in this desk here there's like a HyperX mic. I have no idea why they give you like headphones and a mic and everything like that. Like I should be sitting here doing like streaming or something in the downtime. This computer, it's not great. Stats on screen right now. It's real cheap. It's what I started with. One of my goals for this stream is to actually upgrade this workstation PC. Now, technically speaking, it doesn't need to be, because all it needs to do, as you can see, love, by the way, that you can put custom wallpapers on your PC from your PC on the PC in this game. It's fantastic. So anyway, my background's a badger, because I thought that would be funny. But yeah, all this workstation PC does pretty much is do emails and allows me to do like checkings of things. So I've got like the two different shops here. This is Bongle is the review thing, so it just like shows you like what I've done and what people's reviews and stuff of it were. So we're currently working at Tim's Red Hot Repairs, because the story of this game goes is that you're working for your uncle. He's away in Spain and you're looking after his computer repair shop. I did get to the point where I managed to buy 10% of the company, but I need to own 25% of the company to change its name. Also, bloody shout out to the reflection on that. The reflection on that's actually very good. Although I'm just like ethereal. I don't exist. I have no hands or body or anything like that. So I purposely set myself at a point that would be good for you guys jumping in and viewing what I'm doing. So let's just get into it. So this is my workstation PC. Part of it's the one that I really want to upgrade, because it's not great. It doesn't have to be, but I just want it to be a bit better. You'll notice I don't have an awful lot of money, but that is because I've got a load of stuff in transit. Like if you look on the calendar here, like it's about to be the weekend, but like on Monday there's a whole load of stuff. Like lots of deliveries are due, lots of computers are coming in. Like I have a lot of stuff coming in on Monday to be busy with. So this is the workshop. I have the second workbench, which is this one here, that I have this one unlocked. Need to be level 8 to build the third one, and to build the PC storage cupboard need $2,500, which seems a bit excessive. I don't even know what it's for, so I'll build it at some point that I have that money to spare. I can only imagine, because like, see if I hover over this, it says like resale value is $290. Therefore, like, could I put it in the cupboard as a full build and then just like, you know, put it on like PC, like the games version of eBay or something like that, up for resale or something along those kind of lines. Anyway, that's the only thing I can think of. So yeah, so what we've got coming tomorrow is a whole bunch of stuff. We're going to be working on this workstation first. So how it works is you get emails in, and they basically say like, I need you to build a PC, or I need you to fix a PC, I need you to diagnose it, I need you to upgrade it. There's lots of different scenarios that will come in the emails. The first thing that we're going to tackle is I actually have back-to-back, I have two completely from scratch builds wanted. This one doesn't guarantee me any money, but he has been in touch with me a couple of times before and he keeps promising this $4,000. So I'm hoping over the course of this I'm actually going to be able to finish this and get the $4,000. So there's only a few things, like, because as you build and upgrade PCs, you end up with like used hardware that you've pulled out of other PCs. You know, stuff that's not getting used anymore, stuff that's no use to the person that wanted it in the first place, or just like, you know, these like cheap memory sticks that I've pulled out because like they wanted an upgrade, and like these two of these 2 gig sticks is not enough to get somebody up to 8 gigs, so like I've just removed them entirely, so they're sitting in my inventory just waiting to be used. Most common thing, honestly, to pull out seems to be graphics cards. I have loads of graphics cards sitting in there. A couple of storage drives, couple of power supplies, loads of cables, nothing in the case fans, and you even get like thermal paste and USB drive and stuff for working on the computers. It's brilliant. It's actually pretty accurate, to be fair. So I have all these used parts. So my plan for this particular man, who has not promised me any particular money, but this 4,000 is really enticing, considering that most jobs don't get you anywhere near that much. So I am just going to be looking at building him the cheapest possible thing that I can, but still getting a 3D Mark score of 3,000, because I want to try and get that $4,000. I'm just going to straight up say that I will stop referring to it as dollars and start referring to it as pounds or quid. Some point during this stream, I don't know when it'll be, but I'm in the habit of just referring to money as money. I don't really care what actual currency value it has, especially in a game. Yeah, so I'm going to be doing used parts for this one, but this man specifically says, he mentions Corsair in his PC. When they mention stuff like that, it's normally an additional objective, which basically means like you buy a specific part, you'll get a better review or even get more money from it. But this is a total fresh build. He says he's worried about used parts, so I've ordered all new stuff. He has a budget of 1,750 quid. Oh, there it went. Said it. He has a budget of 1,750 quid. I've ordered parts that came to about 1,000 quid. So I should be able to make a lot of money on this, provided it runs fine. And he's only wanting to play sub-level 0 Redux at minimum spec. That is literally all he wants to do. But he, you know, wants PC parts. Now, I've already ordered all these parts, but basically how you work that out. There's some like stuff in here that is real, as far as I know, and some stuff that's fake. Like, you know, like Doom, Dota 2, Euro Truck Simulator, Far Cry 5, Farming Simulator, like all of these minimum spec games that you can do. Minecraft, Rocket League, PUBG. But then there's stuff like Sail Away, the sailing simulator. I don't know if that's a real thing. I've never heard of that, if it is. And Sub-Level 0 Redux, I don't know what that is. Subsim X. World of Warcraft, World of Tanks, fine, I know what they are. I'm going to assume, because there's so many real ones on here, that all of these are real? That's the only thing that I can think of. But some of them I'm honestly not 100% sure if they are real. But there's not very many, to be fair. Subsim, Sub-Level 0 and Sail Away are just ones that I've never heard of. But all of the rest of these I've either heard of or played, minus Fable Fortune. I don't know what that is. All the rest of these certainly seem like they could be real. Dead Stick, maybe? Don't know. Deer Hunting Simulator? Not familiar with that one. So, yeah. So, so you basically go on to, like, will it run, and you find the game that they want, and it's got minimum spec, recommended spec, and it basically tells you here, like, what you need. This on the right compares to this workstation PC that I'm actually on right now. Sorry, excuse me. So a lot of the time you'll see me like looking at this, then going back to this PC and going to this PC and looking at the specs that it's currently got, and then opening this page back up again, and then opening the shop up and like trying to buy all the parts that will work together and that also will run the game and stuff like that. So anyway, this is your shop. You have like cases, case fans, storage, power supplies, all the bits that go into making stuff. Another reason that I joined in on this a little bit further down the line is that I actually have access to more decent quality Ryzen stuff, which is completely like unobtainable right at the start. I think you have access to, I think it's the Ryzen 3 quad core here. That's the only one that you can get. and then you've just got some like Intel Pentiums and an Intel Celeron processor, which like they're okay for like workstations. But yeah, anyway, so this is going to be the new build, so I need to wait for all of the parts to come in for this one. In terms of the used parts, I'm waiting for a motherboard for this one, so that's why there's just a shell sitting here, because I have nothing to plug into it really yet. I haven't really figured out what I want to do with it, like drives-wise and stuff either, so thus ends the day and the tour of the workshop. And so I'm going to end the day, and you'll get to see all of my stuff going in. So you've seen briefly there the massive amount of stuff that's come in. So so here's like some work orders that I've got going on. Now you're not like you're timed on some of these, like this one, you know, complete by the end of day of the 2nd of the 9th, or I guess the 9th of the 2nd, because this is set in America, right? So that's back to front. So yeah, like 9th of February 2018 there, he wants this finished. It's in 4 days. As long as I can finish it in 4 days, it's fine. I finish it on the day, it's still fine, he's still happy. That's pretty much as much your deadlines go. You can take as much time during a day as you like. There's no like sort of like, oh, you're exhausted for the day, you need to go home now, or like business hours are over, you can't do any more. It's literally just, you know, that. That one that was in, I'll put it back again so you can see. This one's in a blank box. This is the case that I have ordered for this build. And you see I collect my delivery, and there's a bunch of stuff in here. Like there's multiple motherboards and stuff come in because I'm waiting in some of my jobs here. I think it's this one. Yeah, you need to replace the motherboard. So I've reordered stuff like that. Pretty much how I'll do it, you'll see that there'll be a bunch of new stuff come in. And so like I'm looking here, and like what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on this one first because it's all new parts and it's a total fresh build, so you're going to get to see from start to finish. I have a reasonable level of expertise of like actually building computers. I've now built 3 computers from absolute scratch, but I've done bits and pieces of upgrades and fixes and like various other jobs in like other computers too. So we are going to get started on this totally fresh build and see what we've got. That's actually a really nice case fan in the front there. I quite like that one. And it's got an exhaust fan at the back. I mean, this is going to be pretty decent anyway, so. Now, I need to remember which one was for which here. Which might need me to go back and look at will it run. Because I specifically ordered something. So this was the i5 build that I wanted, so I want to make sure that I'm putting the right motherboard in here. Which really is either of these two I can put in. But I know that this one I specifically ordered because it was an exact match for the CPU, the motherboard replacement that's in my backlog there. This one's a little cheaper, doesn't support as much RAM speed, but this is going to be fine for what this person wants it to do. He actually gave me a really pretty substantial budget to run a game that's not actually that difficult to run. So I'm going to be just putting this stuff in. Some of this stuff looks fantastic, some of this stuff looks a bit ropey. Basically, to screw in a screw, you just hold the mouse over a thing and then you do that. So we're going to put in this. We're going to put in the i5. Have to actually open up that, slot that in there, close it over. Remember your thermal paste. And we're going to do cooling, which now I ordered. Which one did I give for him? I'm sure it was this one because I was going to do like white cables and stuff in here. I think for him, I was gonna make it like a white theme build. I don't know why. I just was. Okay, so that's that. So we're gonna go and put a power supply in now. I can't remember exactly which one was for this. Once again, but this will be fine for what he needs. this is more than enough to run the CPU and GPU that I have in mind for this build, so there's no need to be worried about that. Storage wise, whack an SSD on there. I'm going to need to get my installed OS drive on there as well. I'm going to do this pretty quick, just by the way. So now, this guy specifically mentioned that he likes, or at least he likes the sound of Corsair parts because his brother has them, I think was the story in his email. So we are specifically using a couple of Corsair parts. Oh, no, that reminds me actually, did I specifically order the Corsair power supply to fit that? Yes, I think I did. Let's just go ahead and undo this. No penalty for putting in a brand new part and immediately taking it back out again. But yeah, that was right. He wanted specifically Corsair parts, and outside of the power supply and the RAM, there wasn't much I could find that was made by Corsair that's available to me right now, so I'm going to make that a priority. So we've got that, and where is this one here? This was the hard drive that I'd looked out for him. So he's got an SSD, he's got an i5, he's got Corsair power supply, and if we go into the graphics cards menu, I think yeah, this is the one that I ordered for him. It was a 1050. I'm actually taking out one too many of these PCI covers. Yeah, I didn't really figure he would need anything like above that, so that was really all I did. So at this point, everything is now connected into the case and the motherboard. So I'm just going to go ahead and start linking stuff up. This is much easier than it is in real life because you don't even really need to see like where you're going. You just literally say, I want to connect the SSD, connect it to the power supply, I want to connect it to the motherboard now, connect the SATA cable. Here's the case fan, I want to like connect that. Here's another, like here's a case, here's the motherboard thing, here's another case fan, hard drive, and another HDD, and like all of the cables and stuff just kind of route themselves fairly neatly actually, like especially for the cases involved. That's what they're like. So yeah, and then you go around the back of the PC and you've got to connect your power supply, your HDMI to the graphics card. At least I think it's the HDMI they use. I've never actually looked at the cable properly. And the mouse and keyboard. And then somewhere on there you'll always find a little power button. So I've spec'd it out, and I've already put the USB stick in there, so the OS is now installing. And so that's that. It now works. That's a full start to finish build done pretty quickly. And that's all there is to it, to be honest. That runs the game that he wanted it to run very, very, very well. It's actually running closer to the recommended spec than it is to the minimum spec, so he should be fairly happy with this. Like I say, he gave me a really, really like good budget. As you can see here, like he gave me a budget of 1,700 quid, and I have 837 of that remaining based on the parts that I've put in here, and it easily meets the spec. So what I can't put that on because of this side panel. Alright, so yeah. It does come up and tell you, like on the status window, like you know what you may have forgotten to put in. I feel like I totally could have installed that PCI lock without the case side being off, but whatever. So right, so at this point this is finished. That's a full build. Looks quite cool actually, with the white fan in there and then all the cables and stuff. One thing I kind of wish this game had was just stock power supplies. Not stock power supplies, sorry, stock coolers. For like, you know, you've got Intel and AMD processors in here. Both of them normally do ship with a stock cooler. AMD's stock coolers are actually really good. And I just think it would be cool to just be like, you know, this person doesn't need to be overclocking or need a ridiculous like cooling of their PC or whatever, so can I just, you know, stick a stock cooler in there rather than having to buy an aftermarket one, but thankfully they're pretty cheap. So at this point this PC is done, so we're going to just pop it by the door. We're going to go to the job on here, which is this one, so you can see all the parts and stuff that I've used there, and now I can say collect, and he will say, you know, he will give me lots of stuff. So here's the actual objectives. Can boot to the OS, which is like the key one to know that it's working. Can play this game at minimum spec, that's what he wanted. He gives me 355 quid for the labour, and he pays fully for my new parts because I am within budget. Some of them will give you the full budget regardless of whether you use it all or not, so getting close to that budget is just kind of useful. And then you've got your customer satisfaction, which is to install Corsair parts, so he's happy with that, and only use new parts. Again, he's happy with that. And I remembered to put on thermal paste, which is something that is easy to forget on some of these, because I'm used to real-life PC building where some of the coolers, notably AMD stock coolers, come pre-applied with a thermal compound on the cooler itself, so you don't need to put thermal paste on. So stuff like that, just that triggers in my head as soon as I see it. And therefore, I just immediately I'm just like, oh, don't need to do that. So that's that job done. We got paid. We now have money, and I normally just discard the email at this point because it's like bloody useless. Right, so we're going to come over and do this other build. This one's going to be a scratch build as well, but we're going to mainly use used components in this one. I had to buy a motherboard because I didn't have. It's not very often in this game that you get a used motherboard sitting around. So I'm going to just whack this one in here. This is actually a really nice looking motherboard. They do a really good job at being accurate with how these parts and stuff actually look. I want the USB drive in there because we're going to need to run 3D Mark on this one to see that it works. I have this quad-core Ryzen from another build that I'm not using. So I'm going to stick this in here and just see what we get. I was pretty positive that I bought that one specifically for this, but it's too tall to fit in the case, and therefore I'll just use this one. It should be fine. It shouldn't really matter. This one should fit in the other build that I was hoping to do. But that just shows like something like 7mm of clearance just is something very easily overlooked, isn't it, Ross? Because that's exactly what we did with Ross's build at one point. This used stick of DDR4 8 gigs should be fine. I'm not going to bother with, you know, doing more than I need to do in this one. And I need to decide what I'm going to do graphics wise. It needs to hit a 3D Mark score of 3000, so I need a decent GPU in there at least. So I'm thinking probably one of the best ones that I've got sitting might actually be this Phantom Gaming ASRock one here. I think that's probably one of the best. This one I've specifically bought for another build. It's brand new, I spent money on it. I don't really want to put it in there. But just shout out to GTX 1060 AMP Edition, by the way. Fantastic. Even by 2020's standards. This is set currently in 2018, but fantastic. Fantastic card. Yeah. I mean, this one maybe is ever so slightly better. I mean, they're actually pretty much the same, to be fair, but that other one clocks just marginally higher at base, but not as much in the memory clock, but there's not that much in it. I'm gonna go for this one. I'm gonna guess at one here. Let's see, I want to put it in this top slot so it's like the middle. Those ones I need to get rid of. Stick that in there. And I'll pop the PCI lock back in. different cases go together in different ways. Sometimes you don't need to remove certain parts. Should just be obvious. Now, I think I actually bought this specifically for a build. This is going to be doubtful whether or not this actually supports enough power to get what I need to do. But I'm very reluctant to spend more money on this than I need to. And so I will try my best not to spend any more money on this, if I can help it. So it's getting one drive, and it's a hard drive, it's not getting anything fancy. It got a graphics card, it got that. Did I do the thermal paste? Fucking, we're going to find out in a minute, I suppose. So it has everything, so I just need to cable this stuff up together. What would look good in here? I think, like, maybe the sleeved plastic red would look pretty cool. So, oopsies. Not what I wanted to do, I wanted to get that. Connect that to there. It's funny that some of the cables actually do make a difference in some of the cases, other ones don't. Like that one there, that's always a great cable, regardless of what's going there. So, let's... I hate how finicky, like, clicking certain things are sometimes. Very true to form of, like, you know, actual USBs and stuff, I guess. Right, so we're going to power this on. I can put the front panel back on this one now. Seems like an awful lot of unused space in the front here because we're not putting any additional fans or anything in. This is put into the OS, so we're going to go and install 3D Mark Advanced Edition. Oh, that hard drive's actually not bad. This is installing pretty quick, and yes, that does actually make a difference in the game. So, not sure what we're going to be looking at, like 3D Mark-wise here. What we're going to do is go and run it. So this runs in real time, and is actually a reflection of what these PCs would run in this benchmark in real life. So, I mean, 11 FPS is not looking fantastic, but you'd be surprised at what counts as a good score, because these are absolutely ridiculous benchmarks. So, that's going to be running for a while. It may even crash, and so what I'm going to do is start work on another PC while that runs, and we can come back to that. Like, it's literally just running Time Spy Extreme. It runs a few different scenes and a few different things, and it tells you like how much your FPS and stuff is. It runs 2 GPU benchmarks and a CPU benchmark, and then your overall score is kind of a combination. So as long as the power supply can support those parts being like really like taxed, we should do just fine here. Let's see. Let's do an easy one, because a lot of these are like diagnosis ones and there's an upgrade one, so let's do this one. This is just a fixing job. So this is from Vince McCarran. So that's it. So he's read that Arctic parts are really good, and he needs this done quickly, and he wants to replace the motherboard and the air cooler. Yeah, I remember this. So this time round you're kind of going from sort of the start backwards, as it were, I guess, because I'm actually going to be taking out all of these parts as is. Oh, he's got a 1600X there. It's actually pretty decent. What else is connected here? And that. I'm going to open these up and open that up. And take that RAM out, take that out, and remove the motherboard. This game is very relaxing. There is actually upgrades you can buy, like through the store. In the tools section, you can. Oh, so see, this is this one that's come back as broken. Oh, I totally bought the wrong one. Look, the different sockets, so I'm not going to be able to put this back together right now. So I'm going to get rid of the broken one. If we go to the CPU, you'll see that I've got one marked as the property of somebody else, and you can see that this cooler is indeed broken. Although this one does fit in here, and it is an Arctic part, so he's going to be happy with that. But I'm going to have to order a different motherboard because this is not going to work now. So I'm going to just have to pop that over there and immediately go on to the motherboards section of the store and buy one that'll be a replacement. He has a budget of 400 quid, so we could actually get a pretty good motherboard for that, but we don't need to either, I don't suppose. I mean, let's just get this one. That's really good. In fact, actually, this B350 board might even be better, to be honest. I'll go and pop that in my cart. I'll come back to the cart and stuff at the end of a day because I like to try and work through as many jobs as I can in one day and then come back to it all. Let's check in on 3D Mark and see how it's went. Ooh! We're a bit short, so it's graphics that we're falling down on. So I mean, this will support multiple GPUs, so I'm thinking one of the ways that we could get a better time spy score is just to throw in another GPU here, if we can get one that's compatible. Here, this'll work. So that was actually my second choice of graphics card anyway. Actually happens to be one that is... Oh, I moved the wrong one. Actually then happens to be one that will work just fine. Technically you can finish a real PC without these little PCI locks and all the little strips and stuff in the covers at the back, but this game doesn't like it when you do that, so... boot this up again. I'm going to go and get my USB drive out of that. So, let's run this. That's already looking much better in terms of FPS and frame timings. So, graphics score was holding it back before. Let's see if this will do it. If that doesn't do it well enough, I may have to drop money on a GPU to get this build to work. Right. So, we're going to diagnose this problem. So, I'm a doctor. So, ordered a PC around 9 months ago. That was before I took over the business. This is Uncle Tim's doing. It runs okay. It doesn't seem to like doing anything too taxing. It gets hot. So I need to diagnose it and fix it and run 3D Mark. So, first step in diagnosis, I suppose, is to plug it in and see what we get first and foremost. In there so that I can get 3D Mark installed. Let's have a look here. What part? Tell me. Power King 400, GTX 970. I'm not sure what's under there, but if I go to my computer, I can have a look. Oh, a Pentium G. Not grand. So they're saying that it's working fine, but it doesn't like doing anything too taxing. My immediate thought is just that there's no thermal paste on the CPU. Therefore, when you put it under load, it's overheating. So I'm gonna run 3D Mark, bitch. So I'm gonna... Oh, that's even worse than the other one, like 5 frames a second. Oh, yep, there we go. Crashed almost immediately. So, let's power this off. I have a sneaking suspicion that the mean, the CPU must be working fine because we're getting stuff, so let's just apply fresh thermal paste to this and put the cooler back on and wire it back in. And let's see if we can do it. Now, this is technically cheating because it's now turned green for diagnose and fix. That's obviously what the problem was, is that there was just no thermal paste, so let's run 3D Mark on that and leave it going. Oh, this one crashed this time. So, the issue with this one is now going to be power for the GPUs. We don't have enough power in this PSU to run both of these. So let's get shot of this. Yes. That is fine. That is fine. Do you want me to mute? Yeah, no worries. Okay, guys, I'm just going to be muted very briefly while my girlfriend takes a phone call that's work-related. The game will keep going, I will keep doing stuff and playing around with stuff in the background, but you just won't hear my voice for a bit. Okay, so we were actually away for quite a lot longer than I expected here. The phone call went on much longer than I expected. So I am just going to add in a little bit of commentary in post. So hello, this is Jamie from the future. I've sped up the video on screen just because it just helps us get through all this edit stuff much quicker. As you can see, the main issue with the other build that was running 3D Mark was that it kept crashing, and reasons for that is because it has not sufficient enough power to actually run the whole Mark, which is part of the problem that we were having, actually getting that to run. So you may have briefly seen me order a new power supply for that one. This one that I'm working on right now, they wanted a better 3D Mark score. As you can see on screen, the 3D Mark score is not very far off what they wanted it to run, so the only other objective was to install extra RAM. So I've installed extra RAM, and that's me running that 3D Mark on that build there, because with a score that close, the likelihood is that the RAM will just make all the difference that is absolutely necessary on there. So other builds wise, there's just some repair jobs and stuff going on. So like this one's replacing a power supply. He's mentioned Silverstone parts and replacing graphics cards, so you'll see me just kind of shopping around for the ones that he wants. I don't want to be spending any more than what the budget is, and I want to try and fulfill extra objectives where I'm going. So there's a awfully lengthy email here. I can't remember what this one was about, or if it actually leads into anything. But there's loads of great like little storylines and stuff that work together in this game, and it's just fab. But yeah. Like, see here, this guy is looking for an upgrade of RAM, and he wants like a better 3D Mark score and stuff. So like he's got a really big budget, so that's me gonna go and buy. Basically one of the best benchmarking graphics cards that I can at this point in the game, and that's gonna help up that score pretty significantly for us. But anyway, we'll get back to me at that time. Share with you my thoughts on this one. He wants it to get to a 3D Mark score of 5544. He's currently benchmarking 4941, so he's getting pretty close to that. His memory and the speed of his memory are severely limiting this score. I'm also thinking that we either stick a second 980 Ti in here, because I think that 550 watts would just support it, but probably no more than just. first and foremost, I want to yank that out of there. I want to buy an 8 gig stick, or at least some better value, like 2 4 gig sticks to put it in there, because that will benchmark severely better anyway. And I can't see, like, frequency and stuff wise, core frequency, VRAMs, and everything else. This GTX 1060 Gaming X, like, that core frequency and the memory frequency are fantastic. Much improved from this. It could be enough, and it's less wattage too. So it could be enough to push us to where we want to go. So I'm gonna put it in the cart. I'm gonna accept the job, and we're gonna see what we can do. Also, I leveled up, so I've unlocked AIO coolers and a whole bunch of other shit. So that's good. Yeah. So certain ones like this. You've seen me go onto here and have a look at what he already had. He wants me to replace the power supply and the graphics card. So I went on and I just ordered him exactly the same stuff because he has a budget that covers exactly the same shit. So I just went on and ordered the same shit, because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. He doesn't want an upgrade, he doesn't want anything else. He merely mentioned Silverstone components and he already had one of them. So I'm just going to replace the one that he already had because he's going to be happy with that. In terms of this, diagnose and fix. Can't tell much from this apart from, you know, what it's running as basic. I actually built this computer a while ago. Everything that's in here is to do with what I've already built, as it were. So I don't know what's wrong with it. I need to get it first before I see what's wrong with it. So I was just checking something for 2 secs there. So yeah, stuff like that. Anyway, so yeah, where was I? Right, okay, so this ran 3D Mark. You've maybe seen me put another stick of RAM in here, because that's sometimes enough to just push it that little bit that it needs to. But we're not quite getting there. We're really close though. Very, very close. But we have budget here. We have, you know, we have £800 here. And that's only a GTX 1060 Founders Edition, so, you know, I'm going to go ahead and, you know, within my cart here as well, I'm going to go down and grab, like, maybe this 1060 Amp Edition. In fact, actually, I think I already decided that I was going to do that because there's one in my inventory, so that must have been the one that I was thinking for this. So, if we go into the graphics cards now, see, we now have this Founders Edition one, which actually is pretty fucking good as well. The Founders Edition cards I always think look really fucking cool too. They're never as good, like, for cooling and stuff as, like, later cards that come out. So we're dealing with a higher core clock here, but the same memory clock. So I'm gonna see if this makes enough of a difference. We're not looking for that much of an improvement here, so I'm just gonna hope that this little improvement that we can do is going to be enough to push this one to where it needs to go. I'm thinking even just with the improved thermal on that, we should be able to get a much better time spy score here. Over here I decided that these cards weren't working with the power supply that I had in. However, I have ended up with this GTX 1060, which previously I was using like Radeon parts and stuff. Like, I've got like an RX 560 there. And I'm trying to run like 2 of them in like Crossfire SLI here to improve the time spy score, but the power supply wasn't supplying it. So I mean, I could try it with the Founders Edition GTX. I don't think it's going to be good enough though, so I'm going to leave these as they are, and I've got a better power supply on order that should be coming in tomorrow, once I actually press buy. Like you can choose same day delivery, you get it right now, but it costs you more money. Next day delivery is pretty reasonable at $30. You just have to wait a day. And then we've got 3 to 5 working days. There's other stuff in here as well that is to do with like other things. Like, so there's that motherboard that I had the wrong one, so there's a different one that I'm going to try now. There's power supply. That's the one that I want for this for that custom build. I'm going to try that in there. There's the power supply and the graphics card for the guy that needs them replaced. And then here's a GTX 1060 Gaming X that is to do with a different build that we also want to look at. So you need to spend a lot of money to make money, but overall it's a positive trend. So that literally gets us working on everything that's come in here. So did we hit the Time Spy score? We did. Marginally, but we did it. So we can just go ahead and slot this side back on and power off the computer and pop it back out for delivery. So which one was that? Was that this one? Yeah. So we're going to collect on that. Oh yes, you wanted plastic blue cables, but fuck it, I don't have all the different cables in the world, but fuck, I did actually have plastic blue ones, so we got a little bit of money here, so I want like dark grey, let's get orange. And that will probs do for now, so there's just an order of cables in for whatever I'm going to order up next. Oh, here's one that I didn't actually accept before. Actually, we've got a couple of these that are looking for pretty sizable upgrades, really. So he wants upgraded to 16 gigs of RAM. He's got a half decent stick in there already, so that's always good. Pentium G4 though, like not great. This GTX 980 Ti is good though. And he's got an SSD that improves things too. So, okay, so let's accept this job and let's work through like everything. So, so he's hoping for 16 gigs of memory. Kid's been using it, getting weird pop-ups. That normally means that he's got viruses on there, so we want to check those out. He's currently benchmarking. He wants 44. He wants 4488. He's already getting 4462. That's his benchmark right now. He's got £1,000 budget though. I mean, I could push him to that by spending pennies on this build because he's so close. So let's go ahead and order him like another one of these team group RAM sticks there. And I mean, I've got fucking used i3 processors that I could chuck in instead. That would easily push him to where he wants to be, I think. So back to the shop. Right, it's easier to sort like this. He was 2666, right? Yeah, 2666. Not that one. Is it the 8 gig one that he's had? Yeah, he has. The game wants you to match the RAM exactly, and it has to be exactly. I know that in real life you can mix and match. That's not necessarily saying you should, it's just saying that you can. So this guy's looking for, now that 3D Mark score of 4019 from this benchmark is going to be a hard push. But there's a lot of improvements that we could make in there. I'm not going to accept this job right now though, because we need to. I want to have some more money in the bank before I get to doing other jobs. Now, this was another diagnosing one that we needed to do. Who sent this in? Weird Stuart. This one. Can't find my documents. Seems a bit dusty, and he worries about used parts. Going to assume one of his, or his only hard drive in this case, is dead. So let's get in there and have a look. Need this side panel off as well so that I can get at the stuff. Okay, so first things first, blow out compressed air. Blow out the dust. Texture of the dust in this game leaves much to be desired, but at least it does make it nice and obvious, so you know which places you still need to clean the dust from. I think otherwise it would take you too long to get it absolutely spot on. And after you get to a point, it does just work anyway. So. Okay, so it's clean. Let's plug it in. And turn it on. And see what we get. So graphics card's turning, all the other fans are turning. No boot device, so like I thought, this hard drive is probably dead. So let's unplug and unplug and remove that. And I think I do have one in here. Yeah, so you see, like, when you identify it correctly as broken, it comes up as broken. So that's that. Now I actually do have a terabyte one sitting spare here, so I'm just gonna shove that in there for him. Because I am nice. He actually ended up getting an upgrade out of this. Not a lot of places that you would go to would do that. They would probably just put the same stuff back in. In fact, actually, most of them probably wouldn't even ask. They would just do it. So, need to install an OS on there now, because that was his only hard drive, so there will not be an OS. Once this gets to OS, and go ahead and just put this back together now. So that is job done. Pretty easy one. Well, it's easy if you know what you're looking for. Some people would look at that and be like, I have no idea how to fix this at all. Collect. They ignored my budget. New parts, $60. What was his budget? $50? Oh, fuck off. I actually had that sitting. That didn't actually cost me anything. I shouldn't have bothered charging you for it. For the sake of that 1-star review, that's put me under the 4.5 stars mark now. Right, okay, so we're waiting on a new motherboard for that. We need a power supply for that, so there's not much else we can do today. It's time to end the day.